Let's take a little closer look at intermediaries and point out two things worth keeping in mind. Intermediaries these days are not only pooling risk. Pooling risk is, of course, a core activity of intermediaries. Risk is kind of why we have them. But once the intermediaries are holding the risk, though, they get additional incentives and additional interests. Now they've got a more or less fixed pool of money they've collected from premiums, and they're on the hook if their members get a lot of care. So they get an interest in influencing the care that their members get. If they can manage the cost of care in a responsible way so they don't drive away their customers, they'll do better in business. Now they can do that in a bunch of different ways, which will lead to differences from one intermediary to the next. Some intermediaries might decide to spend a lot of energy trying to manage the care that their members get. Have you heard the term managed care? One place it comes from. Other intermediaries less so. Variations in approaches to this can be interesting and lead to lots of terms that we'll encounter. HMOs, PPOs, high deductible health plans, for example, are all terms that refer to different ways that intermediaries can act in their effort to manage the care that their members might get. The second thing to note here is that intermediaries exist and can be used in lots and lots of different combinations. There's really no country in the world that has one single intermediary and only one that covers everyone in the country. There are a variety of combinations and a variety of reasons for the various combinations that exist, but it's worth keeping your eye on the variety and the potential for complexity here. Some of the time, for example, you might see different intermediaries serving different parts of the population. In the US, for example, the Medicare program is a large government program, and one of its key roles is to cover people over the age of 65. Other intermediaries in the US wouldn't cover people over age 65 then and cover other groups of the population. Sometimes intermediaries focus on particular geographic areas, but don't operate throughout a country. Sometimes people have multiple choices of intermediaries and have to opt for one or the other. In the UK, for example, the National Health Service is a large public intermediary that's available to everyone, or essentially everyone, living in the UK. It collects taxes and covers health care for everyone, but there's also the option for people there to buy private insurance, foregoing the coverage offered by the NHS and opting to pay premiums for a private policy. In the US, for another example, most people under age 65 get their insurance from a private insurance company, and there are many different insurers that offer coverage which individuals choose between.